Well, her name's Rock Chalk. She's the talk of the town. We're the German Shepherd duo, always sniffing around. Smith and Wesson by her side, they ain't just for show. They're the muscle when she's hustling, solving crime on the go. She's got her boots in the dirt, she's cracking the case. A true crime queen with a smirk on her face. Loves her country rap bumping, got that twang and that beat. You mess around with her, you're in for a treat. Oh, F-A-F-O, better watch your step. Rock Chalk's on the scene, she'll clean up your mess. With her dogs and her charm, she'll track you down slow. Oh, F-A-F-O, yeah, you reap what you sow. She's got a badge and a sassy attitude to boot. Kicks down doors like she's in hot pursuit. Smith and Wesson bark, don't you dare run. She's the queen of the scene, yeah, she gets it done. Country rap on the radio, she's cruising the street. From the city to the sticks, she's the one to meet. Her motto's real simple, don't try no bluff. Mess around all you want, but you'll find out quick enough. Whoa, F-A-F-O, better watch your step. Rock Chalk's on the scene, she'll clean up your mess. With her dogs and her charm, she'll track you down slow. Oh, F-A-F-O, yeah, you reap what you sow. She's got cowboy boots and a badge of steel. With a heart of gold and nerves unreal. You thought you could hide, but she's always in the know. Now you're caught, son, F-A-F-O. So here's the Rock Chalk and her Shepherd crew. Smith and Wesson got her back and they're coming for you. Country rap in her veins, she's the queen of the scene. F-A-F-O is her motto, and she's living the dream. Rock Chalk out. Hey! She's got cowboy boots and a badge of steel. With a heart of gold and nerves unreal. You thought you could hide, but she's always in the know. Now you're caught, son, F-A-F-O. So here's the Rock Chalk and her Shepherd crew. Smith and Wesson got her back and they're coming for you. Country rap in her veins, she's the queen of the scene. F-A-F-O is her motto, and she's living the dream. Rock Chalk out.
This hour, we are tracking breaking news. Just a moment ago, Moscow police confirmed 4 people were found dead in a home just steps away from the University of Idaho campus.
If this was a true crime podcast, here is where I'd start. I'd tell you that this is a story which all began in a college town of Moscow, Idaho, USA.
This right here is where officers found 4 bodies yesterday, and they were all University of Idaho students.
A crime that within days became the biggest story on the internet, with 2 billion hits on TikTok.
This is big news, guys. This is big. I'm gassed. I literally panicked.
Reaching the farthest corners of the globe.
I live in Australia, and somehow this case made its way onto my For You page.
Millions of people logged on and tried to solve the crime. And I was hooked.
We are talking about the armchair detectives. Their voices are louder than ever.
My theory is that this was a jealousy killing.
Was he watching them on social media? Was he the stalker?
But how much of what I saw online was really true?
This is just my theory about what has happened.
That is my speculations.
I want to know y'all's theories down below.
This case is important, and maybe together we can solve it.
I can see University of Idaho signs everywhere. There's another vandal sign. U of I sign.
Moscow is a small town in northern Idaho of 25,000 people. Half of them are students from the local university.
It feels really strange to actually be here and walking down the main street of Moscow. It's so small and quaint and it's got a lot of character. It's like really different to what I thought it would be. I've seen people do video walkthroughs of this town on TikTok, but actually being here is really, it's really strange.
It's 8 months since I first heard about the brutal murders of 4 college students, Ethan Chapin, Xana Knodel, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. I followed every detail of their story online.
I bought so many t-shirts. No one needs this many t-shirts. Why have I done this? When you see that there's been a tragedy or there's a crime and you see it on your social media, you want to work it out, you want to understand it. Like, I feel like we all have this weird thing ingrained in us where we want to know what happened and why, and we want to know right now. I definitely think that the more you watch, the more obsessed you are, the more you think you might be able to solve a true crime.
This is a case of 4 University of Idaho students and how they were murdered in the middle.
I would be laying awake at night in bed on TikTok trying to get all the information I could. I remember I'd watched this piece of CCTV footage so many times that my boyfriend was next to me in bed and he was like, "Why have you watched that like 20 times? Sorry, you need to put the phone down. Like, it's like 1 a.m. But I was so obsessed with it.
They were there for a couple of hours.
Yo, this is so crazy what is happening right now.
What started as a carefree night for these 4 college friends.
Ethan and Xana were seen at the Sigma Chi House on the Idaho campus that night.
On that same night, Kaylee and Madison were at a local bar from 10 p.m. to 1:30 a.m.
They were inside this club here.
Drinking, partying, having fun, letting loose before the holiday break.
And then they walked that way.
They got food and they went back to their house.
By 1:45, authorities say all of the students were back in their home.
And then something happened to them.
There was something about this crime that put a global spotlight on the small town of Moscow.
Sunday, November 13th, 1:04 p.m. Moscow PD investigating a homicide on King Road near campus. Suspect is not known at this time. Stay away from the area and shelter in place. Obviously, the first initial response is, that is right next to me.
This is Tony. Tony was a neighbor of the 4 students and woke up to a crime scene on his doorstep.
The crime scene here at the home of the 4 University of Idaho students has been very active all day long.
The whereabouts of the killer and the knife used are still unknown.
So there would have been police cars in this entire line, security vehicles, crime scene tape everywhere. So it was overwhelming.
What was it like waking up on that first morning after the tragedy?
It was really bad. Coming up that staircase, there would be a gazebo right here, like a tripod right here, people standing, lights right down on here. It was very grim. It was no longer a metaphorical spectacle. It quickly turned into something literal, right? You ascend into this just like a circus.
It must have been really, really hard to kind of get to grips with what actually happened. And
I didn't really get to fully process it living here. But now that I spent some time alone and I can look back on it, it was really heavy. This is a spot that was otherwise innocent became sad. There's this sickening feeling of, oh my God, they're gone. All of the neighbors, residents, roommates are standing outside their door, just standing. Just standing, that's it. Some people standing outside just to get a sense of safety. But I know some of them were standing outside wondering where their friends were.
Almost immediately, local speculation as to what happened made its way online. And it wasn't long before the true crime community got involved, and I was hooked.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus.
This is 10 to Life.
We're going to be talking about this odd, tragic story.
Everybody's talking about it. It's on every darn news source right now.
Jonathan Lee Riches investigates 4 college students, Moscow, Idaho. They were brutally stabbed to death inside their home in the middle of the night.
When Jonathan Lee Riches started covering this tragedy, he had only a few thousand followers on his YouTube channel. He now has over 100,000.
I'm out here covering this case. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button.
He travels nearly 3,000 miles from Florida to deep dive into every little bit of information that surfaces on this case. He's agreed for me to follow him as he creates content for his channel, JLR Investigates.
are you getting changed?
Yeah, different outfit.
How comes?
I like to keep it interesting, right?
Mhm.
I don't like the same outfits. I feel like each one warrants a different shirt.
How many other shirts and outfits do you have with you?
See if you want. You wanna see?
Yeah, show me. Please
Wanna
show
see?
me.
Got BAM, Press, JLR Investigates.
Oh, wow.
Media.
Lots of branding.
Lots of brand names, and then got multiple shirts. I've been wearing a lot of these for the last day. Like if I'm doing a report out in the swamp, Florida swamp or the woods, I'll throw on a pair of like
Some
outdoors.
camo. Yeah.
To kind of fit the theme of where I'm at. Jeans, if I have to do a former interview with someone, or something not necessarily with shorts, go into a restaurant and sit down and talk to somebody about a topic. So I'll just throw on a pair of jeans.
Do you always have a bag ready to go?
Oh, I'm on standby. Anything breaks, that's an importance. Got a bag, a toothpaste, toothbrush.
You're on the road a lot.
I'm hunting for the stories, hunting to, share awareness to tragedies that are occurring. Yeah.
So where's next then?
Next is right here. I call myself an online truth-seeking sleuth. I love it. I love your First Amendment right to be a journalist. Anyone can be a citizen journalist. Anyone can get a camera, your own phone, and report, and you are considered a journalist. And I hope that is never taken away in this country. Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am standing at the corner of Farm Road and Pullman Road in Moscow, Idaho. Why am I here?
JLR makes up to 8 videos a day on this tragedy, constantly looking for something to satisfy his audience's craving for more.
Oh my gosh, this lady, hey, look.
How are you? God bless you. You have a good day, ma'am. You watch YouTube? Oh, you watch me?
Yeah.
God bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Do you live here? Yeah. We're going to try to get to the bottom of this because we're going to get out the truth to share what happened. Thank you, ma'am.
She just stopped when she went GLR. I love you. Does it feel good when people?
Yes, that just motivated.
Yeah.
That just inspired me.
I feel
to
a new
push harder.
spark.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Kind of, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
And it's a cool feeling. It's a cool feeling.
I think the main thing I want to get an understanding of is this hunger to get all the information possible. You know, what's incentivizing him to want to get right in the details of so many things and not trust the investigation to do its job?
This right here is where officers found 4 bodies yesterday. We now know the names of those 4 students. 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Conway, Washington, 21-year-old Madison Mogan from Coeur d'Alene, 21-year-old Kaylee Goncalves from Rathdrum, Idaho, and 20-year-old Dana Kernodle from Avondale, Arizona, and they were all University of Idaho students.
We've watched this memorial grow all day long, students dropping off flowers and stuffed animals, remembering the 4 young lives that were lost. And there's still a lot of unanswered questions tonight, like how this happened and why.
As vigils appear across Moscow, people on social media all over the world post tributes to the victims online.
The last video that Kaylee uploaded has 8.7 million views. The next one, 7.5 million. 165,000 followers now on TikTok.
Do you think anyone would drink wine? I'll have some wine. I didn't even think of it, really, because, you know, I'm not a big drinker. But
I watched these videos very soon after the murders happened. There is something nice about being able to look at their social medias and realize that they're just another human being. Social media gives you a walkthrough of someone's entire life. You can really connect with a victim as if they're your friend. I think that social media is the entire reason why there was and still is a huge obsession around the victims.
As the U of I community grieves, we still don't know how those 4 students died. Moscow police have not told us much about what happened.
Let's go to John Webb, who's been there since this story broke. John.
Yeah, good evening, Sean. Still no word on the cause of the death of the students. The scene tonight is much quieter. One police officer is watching over the house tonight. You can see his...
In the early days of the investigation, people looked to the mainstream media for information about the case.
So this is where our newsroom radio station are. Here's some of the publications that they put out. You can see here's one they did on the vigil that was held.
Wow.
Beautiful photo that Daniel did.
This is John Webb. John covered the case for a local TV station. He was also a student and knew 2 of the victims.
You were friends with Ethan and Xana. Can you share anything about what they were like as people?
Xana was very goofy. She was funny, always making jokes at parties and stuff. And Ethan was kind of the Labrador, you know, everybody just loved him and he was a sweetheart.
What was that moment like when you realized that some of the victims were people you knew?
Denial. You don't believe it when you first hear it. For a while, I couldn't even say the names on the air. It was tough. I remember being scared. We didn't have anybody yet, and I knew as the clock ticked by every day, we were further and further away from catching whoever was responsible for this and all the pain that it caused a lot of people here. And I remember my station was like, "We'll put you up in a hotel and stuff." I'm like, "No, I got to stay with my friend." And we were scared, and I think we still are. And we look back now and we're like, why did we never lock our doors? Why did we never lock our windows? This could happen to anybody, you know.
Even through the hard moments of the case, what drove you to carry on?
For a while, we were worried that this was going to go cold. You know, that was in the back of our minds constantly.
Still no arrest and no suspect.
This community is small. They're on edge. There is a maniacal
quadruple murderer out there.
There are University of Idaho students, their families, and the greater Moscow community, many of which are still concerned for their safety.
I was driving down to the police department physically every day to try and see if anybody would talk. Anybody. There was no communication at all for the first 3 days. Then the vacuum, the rumor mill starts happening, right? That is when the online sleuth started to begin.
Who did it? Who is responsible? What happened?
I marked up the map so you could see all the possible routes that the intruder may have taken when he left the residence.
It appears to be blood on what looks like a cabinet.
We're going to do a little walkthrough of the house here. Preface this, but this is not my footage. I got it off the internet.
After 3 days of silence, Moscow Police Department announced a press conference.
We are going to be covering the Moscow Police Department's press conference.
Moscow police are holding a press conference in half an hour. We will post another video if we have any new information for you guys.
The small force that hasn't investigated a homicide in 7 years is suddenly thrust onto the world stage.
I'm going to be reading from my notes today because I want the information you receive to be extremely accurate. The facts of the case that we know right now. We know that these homicides occurred in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th. The four were stabbed with a knife, but no weapon has been located at this time. There was no sign of a forced entry into the residence. We do not have a suspect at this time, and that individual is still out there.
Chief Wright, John Webb with KHQ. Why has there been such limited information over the past couple of days? I mean, we're almost 4 days into this. Why has it been so limited?
That's a difficult, but the reality is, I probably should have been standing here a day or so ago.
I'm Emma Epperly with this Folks Interview. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. The other two roommates were there at the time of the attack. Is there any explanation as to why you have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses.
Were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 caller is.
Quick update here on this Idaho stabbing. This is getting really suspicious.
How could there possibly be 2 other roommates in the home during all of this?
How could they not know there was a brutal attack going on in the house?
If there's 4 stabbings, there is blood everywhere. Why did it take 8 hours later to call 911?
Let me tell you why she didn't call 911, because they both full of shit.
I think it was an inside job, and I think the 2 surviving roommates had something to do with it.
Photos and private details about the roommates Dylan and Bethany rapidly circulate online.
I don't care what nobody else say. I don't trust these 2. Now, obviously, I don't have any concrete facts.
These 2 girls, I'm not going to say should be in the hot seat. I would be combing their socials.
These are public pictures that she posted on her own social media profile that is public still. I'm going to share. Check it out. They were texting one another during the murder.
Texting a murder.
The 2 surviving roommates, Dylan and Bethany, are forced into hiding.
Content creators, YouTube's web sleuths, we do specialize in pressure campaigns.
This is Bullhorn Betty.
Applying pressure, applying social media pressure, going after them, putting them on thumbnails, talking about their case, pointing the finger at them. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Coffee Club. It's Bullhorn Betty. We're going to be...
Bullhorn Betty has a YouTube channel and has made hundreds of hours of content on the Idaho murders.
We heard that they came home around 1 a.m. before the other 4 came home. Do you think they went straight to bed?
I call people out on my channel. I know other people call people out on their channel, but Should they not be? I think they should be. And I will get attention to the case, and I know I can. And I've proven that over and over again. And really, sometimes these cases just need a lot of eyes on them.
So everybody stop scrolling and pay attention to this poster. There's a missing person named Gabby Petito.
Web sleuthing gained traction 2 years ago when the online community helped locate the body of a 22-year-old travel blogger, Gabby Petito.
When she vanished, people took the case into their own hands and became digital detectives, scouring social media for clues.
Had it not been for web sleuths and social media creators, Gabby Petito, in all fairness, would probably still be out there lost. That's really when the world kind of realized that web sleuths can be beneficial and can help. If a new case is breaking, I got myself a checklist of immediate things that I must do. First thing is identifying the victim, identifying the suspect. We'd be doing background checks on them, going through every single one of their social media. Who is commenting in their Twitter handles, their Instagram messages, their Facebook messages? I don't think law enforcement is prepared for the type of change that's coming with social media, but change is coming.
It was reporter John Webb who unwittingly gave the sleuths their first clue by releasing video of the victims on the night of the murder.
It was a couple days after the murder, we had found video of Kaylee and Madison actually at a popular food truck in downtown Moscow. A lot of people went there after the bars and stuff to get a bite to eat before heading home. So we posted this video of Grub Truck and their last few hours of being alive. I did not realize how far and how fast that video would spread online. Next morning I woke up, it was everywhere.
Kaylee and Madison noticed
the food truck Twitch stream shows two of the victims buying tacos around 1:53 a.m., just hours before the slayings.
This food truck video could be so important to figuring out what could have happened to them.
The Grub Truck is a late-night food vendor popular with students. It live streams every service across multiple cameras. A student in the back of the video is a new focus for the true crime community. He becomes known as Hoodie Guy or Grub Truck Guy. This is Joe. Joe runs the Grub Truck and was working on the night of the murders.
And I can't imagine that feeling of being one of the last people to interact with the victims.
It was honestly just really depressing to see some young kids having a really good time knowing that they were dead.
So after this, did a lot of people start trying to film and record outside the Grub Truck?
Yes, yeah, a lot of people. People walking around with their phones. There's one guy that was unbelievably annoying, and I would say just was just a full asshole about it.
Was he recording on his phone?
Yeah.
And doing this?
Yep.
I know who that is.
Here it is, the Grub Truck. Cold out here, nobody's out here in downtown Moscow. This is the same Grub Truck that Maddie and Kaylee was in, right? They came here, Maddie and Kaylee?
Oh, we don't discuss that.
Oh, you guys can, or you just don't want to? So let me ask a question.
I'm a journalist, so I'm covering this case. There's people saying, oh, the Grub Truck guy did it. He did it. He's involved because he... What do you say to that?
I don't respond to people not talking about it.
It's just a food truck. Just a food truck. Okay.
Just a food truck. All right, so this is what they sell.
He didn't ask any intelligent questions or anything could have been useful. None of that speaks to me as a person trying to help solve a murder.
Is the Grub Truck people involved? I would say not, but there is people online that says talk to Joey. Joey, the Grub Truck guy, whoever Joey is, he knows something or he's done something. So, I flat out asked.
I think a lot of people on the internet sleuth side of it, we're just trying to get content dramatizing tragedy.
The pursuit of Hoodie Guy is relentless, and his private information, including his parents' address, is spread online. His sister takes to social media to put out a passionate plea.
Are you going to take this video down? It has nothing to do with my family. This video has pictures of our houses. It shows where we work, and it has our faces plastered. We have received threats and harassment. And we didn't deserve that. And I hope in the future we can take away from this that this is not a game of Clue.
And see him. I think he's making a video. I've seen so many online sleuths like JLR prodding and provoking for information.
I don't want to get in the way of his video.
The murders happened at the Moscow, Idaho home, 1122 King Road home, and that's...
Does JLR really think his tactics are going to help solve the crimes?
The goal is to let criminals and bad actors be put on notice that you can't get away with it nowadays. Because you're going to have YouTubers and social media on you. I'd throw names around that could be possibly involved or asked. Boyfriends of the victims, fraternity members, sorority girls, neighbors, community members, registered sex offenders, because maybe you can gaslight these people to come out and share where they were really at so we can cross them off the list.
Sometimes, though, this is, these are people that law enforcement have ruled out. So why is the focus still on them?
Well, law enforcement might say they ruled somebody out, but they don't give any details. If you're accused of something, you need to come out and just inform the public, hey, I'm not involved. This is where I was to prove it. We're not going to stop until we find out. If they don't want to give us the information, we'll find out ourselves.
Do you think that people staying silent makes them seem suspicious?
I do. Especially if they stay silent and start locking down their social media accounts. And I think it's important for them to come out and talk. When they don't, it gets very, very bad in cyberspace with everyone digging in their background, their family's background, their friends.
Can you see it from a side of they may just want privacy at this time?
It could, but maybe a family member of them or a spokesperson for them could come forward and say that might alleviate that suspicion more.
With the first week gone and no suspects on the horizon, the grieving sister of one of the murdered students takes to national news to release information.
Olivia Gonzalez isn't waiting for police, raising questions about why her sister
Maddie called him 3 times from her phone. So a total of 10 calls to Jack.
So who is this Jack guy and why were they calling him so much?
Kaylee Gonzalez has photos with a young man named Jack posted to her Instagram.
Jack is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. They were together for 6 years.
We did do some preliminary work on him. So we do have access to his Twitter account and some of the postings that he's made there.
Moscow Police Department are forced to start combating the rumors and online speculation in their press conference.
We do not believe the following individuals are involved in this crime. The 2 surviving roommates, a male seen at the grub truck food vendor downtown, specifically wearing a white hoodie. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual.
Thank you, Captain. We know that people want answers, and a lot of people have expressed their desire to help, and the best thing that most of people can do to help is to stop with any kind of rumors and just seek official information that comes out of the Moscow Police Department.
Kaylee's ex-boyfriend was immediately cleared by the police, along with Hoodie Guy and Dylan and Bethany, the roommates. They all refused to speak to the media or engage with the sleuths.
The video is converted. I will go right here to upload. Wording and your thumbnail is very, very important.
JLR has made another video for his channel about the CCTV cameras near the student's house.
And I'll just do a hashtag.
How do the hashtags help?
I think it helps. I think people do search hashtags. In this case, I put in Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, Idaho4, Moscow, Idaho. Keywords all centered around this tragedy. Because
why Dylan Mortensen? Because she's not in this video.
But they're just part of the case, and people want to know about them. And I just feel like, it draws people to my channel also.
Do you still think they may have something to do with the case?
I don't think that. And that's not what I lean towards, but I do talk about them. I talk about all the roles, and I also talk about what other people are talking about them to engage.
But those two roommates have shut their social medias down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that might not be a bit of a sign that they don't want themselves to be public?
I don't know the reasons why of shutting down. Maybe law enforcement told them to shut it down. Maybe law enforcement said, protect yourself from weirdos out there and all kinds of people that might stalk you or something like that and be obsessed with you. We don't know if Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk like all this attention or not. We don't know. So maybe they do. Maybe they.
Do you think they might like it?
I don't know. Like, they were sharing all types of stuff on them, their activities on social media. So they chose to be public figures. They put their own stuff out there, and once it goes on the internet, it stays on the internet forever.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new way of life. The internet is our life. This is the new norm. It literally is the new norm. I don't see any way we're getting past this. I don't know if any laws can prevent people from talking about somebody that already put their stuff out there. I just see it as the future.
And are you happy contributing to it?
I'm happy with trying to get the truth and understanding of what happened.
This is my daughter, Nicole. It's my baby. Best part of my life, obviously. Being a mom, I don't want to cry. But so she died in 2011. Her death was ruled as a suicide, and I believe it was a murder. Sometimes when I see girls, little blonde girls that remind me of my daughter, then I just feel like, oh, no, no, no. I don't want to let somebody get away with that. I hate people who commit murder. I hate them. They've ruined my life. And so I want them to go to jail.
This is Donna Serafina.
Thank you for joining me today. My name is Reverend Donna Serafina. I am a spiritualist reverend and a psychic medium.
The desperation for any new clue to the murders leads the online community to listen to a different kind of sleuth.
The physical description of the Moscow killer was revealed to me and downloaded information from the universal consciousness.
I am a true crime medium, and I did psychic investigation.
I was reading the murder weapon. Sometimes the cards show meanings and the images.
Donna alleged the killer was the son of a baker. All the bakeries in downtown Moscow were targeted.
Okay, let me see what they're going to show me. I keep getting this French bread, baguette. I kind of have a feeling it's more like a family business.
This is Smitty. Smitty runs the bagel shop in downtown Moscow.
So this is where the son theory comes in.
For some reason, they know that their son has some thought patterns that are of violent nature like that. Like, he's sticky with the blood, but for him it feels good. Like, he would like to jack off with his bloody hands.
You can't make this up.
I think I listened to this exact bit and I thought, not for me.
Right.
Can I see some of the harassment that you faced in the comments?
Yep, I have some insights on my computer here of Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, here's one. Your son is the killer. Go to the FBI immediately. Then it says he got that cut during the killings, not at work. And then it mentions my name and says it's my son. Yeah.
You don't have a son?
Nope. Don't have a son. Yeah, so once everything started getting crazy, I took a couple snapshots of my Facebook analytics. This was pre-psychic reading that caused all this. And the 30-day snapshot shows 243 Facebook page visits. Not very impressive, but I'm not a huge social media person. But this next screenshot is post-murders, more specifically,
oh my gosh,
post-psychic, 231,000 plus Facebook page visits. And then the Instagram is almost 20,000.
That's not even a true reflection of how many people saw the rumor on TikTok or YouTube.
No.
This fraction of people are the people that actually have decided to conduct almost their own investigation.
Right.
Even though part of me knew, like, this is crazy, this even exists, this content, I still watched it. I still consumed it, and I still felt engaged with it. You know, for me, it became a vicious cycle of a constant need for new information, regardless of whether it was necessarily substantiated or true. Normally, someone like this wouldn't have an influence and wouldn't have a platform to be able to make outlandish statements. And I think that's the danger, but also that's why, so many of these online sleuths operate on TikTok, because they know their content, if it gets enough likes and it gets enough views and it gets caught up in the algorithm, it has the potential to go viral more than on any other social media platform.
The misinformation becomes so loud that the police add a rumor control section to their website.
Quelling rumors about specific individuals or specific events that may or may not have happened is a huge distraction for investigators.
We're going to head tonight at 6, shutting down the rumor mill. Our John Webb sat down.
At his local news station, John Webb starts to fact-check theories appearing on social media.
Kids were bound and gagged. That is incorrect. Roommates saw someone with a mask. I don't have that knowledge.
To fact check people online during a murder investigation. Unheard of. We've never seen anything like that before.
Major update in the U of I killings. If you're following this case, you're gonna want to stick around for this video.
This is Destiny. Destiny is a TikToker with 11,000 followers. She built her following of filming her own reactions to the unfolding events.
They were beautiful people inside and out. And they didn't deserve this. And, yeah, so I just want to take a moment and just grieve for them.
She started attending police press conferences to live stream them for her audience.
So we would like to open it up to any questions.
Destiny Martin with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can you lend any insights into the possibility that the murder weapon is linked to the ROTC program? And also, have you guys ruled out the possibility that the killer might be a female?
So we look at every avenue. We're looking at every group of people. Like I said.
Immediately after the press conference, the newspaper Destiny claims to be affiliated with releases a statement saying they've never heard of Destiny Martin. This leads to another frenzy of intense sleuthing activity.
Hey, Tic Tac, need your help again? We need to identify this woman right here. They just did a press conference, and this woman showed up to the press conference saying that she worked for the newspaper. She doesn't. She doesn't work for any publication at all.
How weird is that? How did she even get in there? Why did she lie about what press outlet she was with?
Should she be on the suspect list? Because that's really kind of creepy.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
Destiny. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
I got a lot of backlash. A lot of people were very upset. People then started to attack my character and my presence at those press conferences. Honestly, looking back, it was probably more because I was hearing everyone else say their name and then their newspaper or news. So I just said it that way. And it didn't occur to me that it would be taken wrong. I received multiple death threats, and when I would go live, I would have people say that they were outside my door. They were saying, "I'm going to kill you."
That must have been really scary.
It was extremely scary.
Did this stop you from posting any more videos?
No, I was certainly more careful about how I was posting things and doing my lives, but the fact that I have a martial arts background would I wouldn't be an easy target.
The weeks pass with no apparent suspects or leads.
It's now been 3 weeks since authorities have held a press conference allowing us to ask questions. Families continue to be frustrated by the lack of information. And as Crime 2's Kyle Simchuk reports tonight, one of them has now hired an attorney.
We have so little information from law enforcement.
The Gonzalez family start publicly criticizing the investigation.
I just feel like there's been a couple individuals that were cleared very fast.
Many are worried that the killer may never be found.
Breaking news, big news, press conference today, 1 p.m. Moscow police are holding a press conference for the first time since before Thanksgiving. This is big. I'm gassed up. I literally panicked. I just woke up. I had to tell you guys, 1 p.m.
Thank you for coming today. In conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, detectives arrested 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohlberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
Right now, we got some activity going on. They're starting to move the cars out in front of this house.
We were all set up at 1122 King Road, and then all of a sudden, you literally heard ding, 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 zzz, 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 all over the place. And next thing we know, we start hearing about Brian Kohlberger, and we're like, Brian who?
I see we have confirmed that Brian Kohlberger is a PhD student covering criminal justice at Washington State University.
I don't think that he was on anybody's radar. Apparently, he studied criminology in graduate school.
Here's the guy. This is the guy they're saying committed this heinous crime. Creepy dude. Creepy dude.
DNA test taken from suspect Brian Kohlberger's cheek swab matched DNA left on that infamous knife sheath that Kohlberger allegedly left behind.
Not a single sleuth had accused Brian Kohlberger in the previous 6 weeks. It was forensics that ultimately led the police to him.
The suspect, Brian Kohlberger, is expected to enter a plea for 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Oh my God, the anxiety. Okay, so an arrest has finally been made in the Idaho4 case.
And hopefully all of the victims can have a little bit of justice now.
Now that it's less of a crime story, a lot of people are ready to just kind of be able to grieve in private.
Immediately you feel calm because
it was a sense of relief. Okay. Not only are we going to get closer to closure,
and an answer, but hopefully some peace. Maybe this means we don't have to be so afraid.
No, it did not end there. No, it didn't stop. It got worse.
Check this out. Brian Kohlberger, everyone wants to know a motive. How is he connected to the victims?
Someone from Pennsylvania, 2,500 miles away, was arrested for this crime. Immediately, that just sent me into extra overdrive.
I have the Steptoe Village apartments where Brian Kohlberger lived. And you can
The sleuths immediately started to explore additional avenues of investigation to update their audiences.
You're telling me one person went in unalived with a knife before humans got back out in 8 minutes.
The first thing he asked law enforcement was anybody else arrested in this case.
The sleuths' investigation leads them to another incident that occurred 4 weeks after the murders. It's completely unrelated. An Army veteran with PTSD called Brent Kopacka had been shot dead in a standoff with police. The sleuths tried to connect the dots.
Brent Kopacka and Brian Kohlberger, both with the exact same initials.
Do you think Brent is somehow involved?
The two men had never even met.
Was he a puppet and Brian Kohlberger was the puppet master?
Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am standing out front of the Army Recruiting Center. Why am I here? There is still a lot of speculation out there whether Brent Kopacka is involved with the Moscow, Idaho case. People want to know, did Brent Kopacka do these Moscow, Idaho stabbings? Now, people want to know, did he do this or not? Was he involved in any way? Did he work with anyone? I spoke to Brent Kopacka's best friend, and I want to share with everyone our correspondence with one another, and then we will further discuss. Check it out. Okay, so this is the conversation I had with Darren Duncan, who is the best friend of Brent Kopacka. You can see him putting their arms around each other. Hey, dude, I'm covering the Moscow, Idaho case. I got a big platform here. Help me put these Brent Kopacka rumors to rest. Darren responds to me. So you're the guy who keeps making videos about my friend and took my picture of us, replaced me with Kohlberger. He said, people think he's involved because of idiots like you. Go F yourself. You're helping fuel the fire of the conspiracy theory. I'm trying to think of the angle that I will probably put this video out. I think I'm going to put exclusive interview with the best friend of Brent Kopacka.
I met Brent Kopacka when we were about 13 years old in junior high. It was about 22 years ago. About a couple weeks after he died, I Googled Brent's name, and that's when I started seeing things online that people were implicating him in that quadruple homicide that happened last November in Idaho.
This is Darren Duncan. Days after Kohlberger was arrested, a rumor circulated that Darren's best friend Brent was his accomplice.
So this is a video by JLR Investigates, and it says exclusive interview, Brent Kopacka, best friend.
He's trying to say that it was an exclusive interview. It wasn't an interview. It was just him messaging me on Facebook and me replying to him.
What was your motivation behind engaging with these videos and these comments that were made about you?
I wanted to put a stop to it. I wanted people to stop talking about Brent. I don't care what they say about me because I can defend myself, but Brent can't. It breaks my heart and it makes me mad that the stuff's going to be up there forever because he shouldn't be remembered that way. He should be remembered as a Purple Heart soldier who fought for us, and it completely tarnished his legacy. And I thought if I make myself this open book that it would put an end to it, but it didn't. All it did now was put me in the spotlight and make it worse, kind of. So I started defending Brent, and I would comment, I'm like, you guys don't know him. You're talking about him in a way that it's just not true. He didn't know Kohlberger. He didn't kill those people. Oh, you're the best friend. They started creeping into my life and going on my Facebook, and it just ran wild. And there was no way to tame that fire at all. And people are showing pictures of my kids online and saying that that people should take away my kids and that I don't deserve to be a father. I'm not a murderer. I'm a family man.
JLR didn't stop making videos about Brent after Darren spoke out, which makes me question his motivation.
It's a lovely view up here.
It shows how peaceful that town is, on top of the world here.
I want to understand what motivates you to do the work that you do.
I think part of my life is I consider myself a redemption story. When I was in my early 20s, I got arrested by the federal government for fraud, wire fraud, and hacking into banks. And, I stole people's money.
I lost 10 years of my life incarcerated. You know, I got a long sentence to that, and I wasn't happy with my sentence. And when you do mistakes, you're all over the news. Your image is out there. Your mugshot's out there. There's articles out there. There's articles out there about me. And that's a chapter I want to put behind me.
Your strategy is forcing people to come forward with information to exonerate themselves. Do you understand? It feels like people are presumed guilty before innocent.
There's no such thing as innocent till proven guilty. So in my own situation, you know, I was guilty before innocent. I felt betrayed. I felt confused. I thought the presumption of innocence occurs in this country. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's you're guilty. You're guilty until you prove otherwise.
This is a follow-up video so you all can calm the heck down. Stop coming after me and let my community grieve. And for the love of God, stop telling me it's not my community.
After being outed as a fake journalist, Destiny claimed that she knew two of the victims.
I used to work up there, and that's how I met Maddie and Kaylee. And every time I was there, I saw Kaylee and Maddie. And
she has since admitted that she had never met Kaylee.
The point is that I have ties to that community because my grandson lived right near the murder scene. I have a really close friend. Her daughter is a neighbor of theirs.
Hi, Destiny.
Hi, Zara.
How are you?
Destiny has started making tributes in honor of the victims.
Lockjaw family rising up like a storm. Oklahoma, Kansas roots been reborn. Texas fires burn under California skies. OHIO screaming into the night. Smith & Wesson, locked, loaded, they gleam. German Shepherd pups chasing down their dreams. Fire it up from the plains to the hills. Kansas hearts beat wild, unchained by their wills. Smith & Wesson, locked, loaded, they gleam. German Shepherd pups chasing down their dreams. Fire it up from the plains to the hills. Kansas hearts beat wild, unchained by their wills. Devin, sit back, I got mighty good they cry. Mama lost, holds her head in the sky. Marvin Valley for 20 battled away. Jezebel witch won't be silenced today. Bitter winds howl on the edge of the plains. Dust and struggle carve lives in their veins. Legends whispered in the fields they blaze. Ignite the night, set the world in a craze. Lost and found in the shadow of fight. Family names tattooed in the heart's light. Steel strings screaming under crimson skies. Feed the fire, don't let it die. Unleash the howl of the wolves at their backs. Spread the call through the winds and the cracks. Unity forged through the ash and the flame. Lockjaw family, forever the name.
all. In memory of Kaylee Gonzalez, I wrote, "We love you," so that whoever finds this will know that we all felt this loss and that we all love her deeply.
How do you connect with someone that you haven't met?
Even though I never met Ethan or Kaylee or Xana,
You don't have to know someone to be connected to them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching people on TV, right? You watch actors in a movie, you get to know them through interviews, you get to see how they react to questions. And with Kaylee and Xana and Ethan, you get to see them through TikTok. Unfortunately, I've had people say I'm obsessed with them. Hello guys, hi Shonda. I'm doing something special. Hey Jenny. So I want to show you guys, thank you for those compliments. I wanted to share with you guys something really special.
I guess one of the positive things about being considered part of the true crime community is that
In this weird juxtaposition of TikTok and true crime, I have come to know and love a lot of different people on TikTok, which is another reason that it drives me to continue to do lives and to continue to make content, because not only am I helping them, but they're helping me. Again, thank you so much for the compliments. I love you all, and I'll see you a little bit later.
What kind of comments were you getting?
A lot of comments about my hair being beautiful and my makeup and my outfit, which I couldn't really see the comments though, because of the brightness. But what I could see was very humbling and appreciated.
Before I came here and before I visited Moscow, I was scrolling through my social media, watching so much content day after day about the case. And I think I've really seen the impact that content has had on the community. I'm not saying I judge the online sleuths, because I understand what it's like to feel validated on social media, but they are exploiting a situation for views, even though they may see it very differently. At the same time, without people like me watching the content, looking online, waiting for the next video to be uploaded, and the next theory and the next suspect, there wouldn't be a demand for it. You can't blame them for continually posting it as long as there's people like me watching it.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
Thanks for joining me. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. It's been more than 27 months since 4 University of Idaho students were murdered in a home near campus after spending the night hanging out with friends after a football game. And after all of this time, we are finally hearing the 911 call the surviving roommates made. The horror inside that home on King Road, unimaginable. Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves had been stabbed to death. They were in the same bed on the 3rd floor. Xana Kernodle and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were also stabbed to death and were dead in her bedroom on the 2nd floor. This is the last known photo of the 4 with the 2 surviving roommates. Recently, the transcript of the 911 call came to light in a motion filed by prosecutors, but the audio of the call submitted with it was filed under seal. But now that actual audio has been released. The 911 call led to a massive criminal investigation involving police in Moscow, Idaho, Idaho State Police, and the FBI. More than a month later, Brian Koberger, a PhD student at nearby Washington State University, was charged with breaking into the home and murdering Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. He was studying criminology. I'm going to play that call for you in its entirety, and then we'll talk about it.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is
We're
the
not
address
safe.
of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, this is
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you. What's wrong?
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20 here to
Okay.
them.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Bethany, Delana needs you to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them.
Okay. Hello?
Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
11:59 a.m. 49 seconds, November 13, 2022.
I want to tell you about something that Megyn Kelly has out right now. It's a truly gripping and incredible investigative documentary on her YouTube channel. The disappearance of baby Lisa Irwin has been a mystery for more than a decade. Who took her from her crib in the middle of the night? And could she possibly still be alive? Megyn Kelly is taking you back inside the case in a special meeting to dispatcher Carolina Calvin. The motion states, HJ located the unresponsive body of Xana Kernodle and informed BF and DM to call 911. Those are the surviving roommates. EA was present at that time. All declarants personally perceived the event, i.e. Kernodle unresponsive. The majority of the declarations were describing to dispatcher Carolina Calvin what they were perceiving, i.e., present sense impressions. Those statements relate to Kernodle being passed out and not waking up. The declarations were made immediately after HJ discovered Kernodle's body. I want to bring in Gray Hughes of the Gray Hughes Investigates YouTube channel. He actually got a copy of this 911 call before anybody else. So, Gray, talk to me about what your first reaction was to hearing the audio after we had all seen the transcript last week when it was released by the court.
Well, I think the first thing you notice is like when you're reading it, you don't hear, obviously you can't hear anything. You're just reading it, so there's no emotion attached to it. But as soon as you hear it, you're just like, whoa. I mean, these people, Dylan, I believe, is the woman that we hear, and she is just absolutely panicking and freaked out, and you can really sense the fear that they have.
Yeah, I mean, they sound so young. That's what struck me about it. I mean, they're like these young, they sound like girls. And I know that they're 20 years old, but that really struck me. And the difference between their tone and how panicked they are, and the female neighbor, and then the other man who found Xana. I mean, it's a stark difference. And a lot of people, there's been a lot of things said about these surviving roommates. And what struck me was just like the sheer urgency and panic in their voices.
Yeah, I think that people have been extremely unfair to Xana, or not Xana, for Dylan and Bethany, because they're just college students, and they're not worldly people that have been all over the place, and then there's this horrendous thing that happens, and because they're survivors, there's a lot of people online that treat them almost as criminals, like they had something to do with it. And there is zero evidence of any kind, any way, shape, or form that they have anything to do with anything. And so it's always interesting when people still have questions like, but why didn't they call 911? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? And I always say back to them, if you don't think they have anything to do with the crime, then why do you keep asking these questions? Because that is the reality, right? Like, does it really matter why it took them so long if you don't believe they had something to do with it? And the truth is, there's a lot of these conspiracy people out there that actually believe that Dylan and Bethany had something to do with it. And I just find it's just disgusting to me.
Gray, I know you've investigated this for quite a while. You've been to the neighborhood. I've been to the neighborhood. But you actually have put together some 3D models inside the house that actually show, they're walkthrough models.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you pull up one of those for us really quickly and show us around the house? Because a lot of people have gone online and seen photographs inside the house, but you've actually created something that's pretty realistic from what I could see inside the windows when I was there.
So in this, okay, let me do this again. Yeah, so take a look at this. When you're in this program, this is actually the entire 3D model of the house. See that? And, everybody's seen the outside of it. And from outside, this right down here is Bethany's room. This is where the storage room was that people put storage in. This is Xana's room right here in the middle right. And then this is the living room window. And then up here is, let's see, Kaylee Gonzalez's room right there. And this is the window that looks towards the stairs that go up. And that's the bathroom window, right? And then if you turn it around to the other side of the house, like this, let me go flip it around. And this is the balcony. That is Kaylee Gonzalez's room. That's Madison Mogan's room. And that is Dylan Mortenson's bedroom. And that's the slider to the kitchen. So if we go back around and we go inside the house, I'll put there's a camera actually placed on that 3D model, and that's him looking at the door right there, right? So then we go in and you take a left, go right into Bethany Funk's room. And then that room right there in front of you is the storage room. And then that door that's open, that's the door that goes outside again. And then these are the stairs that go right up into the living room. So now you're in the living room, and from here you can see Xana Kernodle's room. And I actually have a 3D model of her perhaps on the ground there. But, we go into Xana Kernodle's room, and I don't know if Ethan was over there or not, but that's the wall, by the way, that from outside you can see blood coming outside. I don't know if you've seen that photo, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen it in person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so that's the wall right there. And then if you exit that room, you're going back into the living room. And then right here on the left is this is Dylan Mortensen right there. So that's probably where she was standing. If this is Ryan Koberger, or I guess we could say the guy that's in the house, I believe it's him. Like he's walking by right here, and he saw her, but then turned right and went into the kitchen. I'll show you that, but I actually go into the room and then come back out and see how the kitchen's right there. So that's just, if you go from the living room and you take a right, that's the kitchen. And right now I'm in Dylan's room, right? So then you go left up the stairs. And then when you get to the top of the stairs, there's 2 flights. So you go up this one and then another flight. And then if you turn left, you're into Kaylee Gonzalez's room. And there's the balcony. I have her little dog over there. And then you exit. And then you go right in front of us, right there's the bathroom. And then to the right is Madison Mogan's room. And you can see the deck that's in the back of the house from her window, but there's no slider there. And then they were both like apparently right in this area like that. Like maybe Kaylee was bent over from the waist, they say. I mean, they're just models. There's nothing. And apparently like on the bed there would be where the knife sheath was. And then you go back down the stairs. And then that would be Dylan's room right here on the right. And then you take a quick left and you're in the kitchen and out the sliding glass door. That's how you would get out of there. But if we go all the way back, like this part right here, this is why, when the bushy eyebrowed guy, he's walking this direction and then he takes a right and leaves out the sliding glass door. But look at where Dylan saw him right there, right? But he would take a right and go out the slider. So it's pretty interesting. It's a great tool to have to just be able to discuss different things about the case.
Yeah, most definitely. And it gives you a good idea of where everything is located inside that house. We read the text messages, we read the probable cause affidavit. So this gives us a really good view of what was actually happening in the house. Just back to the 911 call really briefly. Have you seen any reaction to that where you feel like people are now being less harsh with the roommates?
I think a lot more people now are saying, wow, that was just devastating. But the people that always were hard on them anyways, that they're just going to stay there because that's what their core belief is. So yeah, they're the kind of people that if you present them with new information, they won't switch. They'll stick with that. But I think there's probably some people that weren't sure, and now they see the reality about the 911 call. Now people are saying it's fake now, that it's a AI generated. If you can believe that, that's the length of conspiracy they go to keep their story going. So now it's a fake call, it's AI generated, it's scripted, etc. And it really just never ends out there on the social media world. It just keeps going and going and going.
Well, we definitely know that it's not fake. And Gray, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on.
Now, before that 911 call was even placed, prosecutors have revealed that one of the surviving roommates, DM, tried to call all of the roommates. Prosecutors write, from 4/19/07 to 4/21/50, DM attempts to call BF, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonsalves, and Madison Mogan. All calls unanswered. According to the timeline laid out by police, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan had been murdered minutes earlier, and DM had seen a man in all black carrying a vacuum-type object walking through the house. Then, from 4/22/08 to 4/24/27, DM and BF send the following text messages. DM to BF, no one is answering. DM to BF again, I'm really confused right now. DM to Kaylee Gonsalves, Kaylee. DM says to Gonsalves again, what's going on? BF then texts DM, yeah, dude, WTF. BF then texts DM again, Xana was wearing all black. DM to BF, I'm freaking out right now. DM to BF, no, it's like ski mask almost. BF to DM, STFU. BF to DM, actually. And then DM says to BF, like he had something over his forehead and a little end mouth.
STFU. BF to DM, actually. And then DM says to BF, like he had something over his forehead and a little end mouth.
But they led us to believe that these girls were sleeping all night. What's up with that? I don't understand. I'm going to show you another thing too, where Outcast breaks down that 911 call.
DM to BF, I'm not kidding. So freaked out. BF then says to DM in a text, so am I. DF then says to BF, my phone is going to die. BF then texts DM, come to my room. Run down here. Then DM places a phone call. At 4:24:39, DM calls Ethan Chapin. The call was unanswered. DM and BF continue to text. At 4:24:58, DM texts BF, I'm scared though. BF responds at 4:25:16, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. At 4:27:47, DM calls Gonsalves and the call goes unanswered. And at 4:28:44, DM calls.
So in the court paperwork, it says that they went in, Dylan, Bethany, and Hunter. Hunter went to the kitchen, grabbed a knife. It also says DM saw Xana at least twice. The coroner said it was a bloody scene. And they're saying this girl was passed out. I don't understand. But I will tell you, my computer's acting really weird, but I'm going to try to share Outcast here. He breaks down that 911 call, and he shows where Dylan says she tried to warn Kaylee. See, I know I've already liked it, and it won't let me share it. So I will tag that later.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that's happened right?
Anyway, I'll link Outcast.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
Anyway, I like Outcast, and I like the way he breaks it all down for us. I think the call sounded fake. I think they rehearsed it. Like I said, the court papers show, hi Strange, the court papers show that Dylan saw Xana at least twice. Still never called 911. Your friend, housemate, is passed out. Supposedly she saw her head towards the wall and her feet towards the door. A lot of it don't make sense. Don't make sense at all. Passed out on a knife 47 times. Come on, yeah. It's all really strange. But we got just a few days over 90, and that trial will start. That's going to be one interesting trial. I personally feel like Ellie and the paperwork has all lied to us. And just a lot's coming out. I do watch Outcast a lot. He had a different name. I'm not going to say what it is because obviously he's trying to hide it. But I always liked it when he'd go on panels and he would talk about things. He's not afraid to say stuff. And, well, I have my granddaughter a lot of times. I'm over in Outcast and I'm watching his channel just to see what all he's got to say. Strange, you have a live tonight, right? I think you do. I think I got an email saying that you have a live tonight. Let me share that. And Mama Lost Rhonda, I see Tommy's live. Says chit chat. I want to go check that out. Looks like BAP was live 59 minutes ago. Strange has a live tonight at 8 p.m. My computer's acting strange. Not like strange suspicion, but strange. So I will have to probably restart it because I can't tag. Trying to pull her up and share it, and it's not letting me share it. But you can share it, Strange. Please share your link in the chat. You have that power to share your link. Please share it. BAP was a premiere? Okay. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't understand, but I haven't started my computer. Of course I'm coming to your live. I probably will have my granddaughter. I don't know how much I'll be able to talk, but I know I missed yesterday, and I'm very sorry. I try to make every one of your lives, but I did watch it last night. Very good. I was waiting for them to pour Fago all over everybody with that great Fago, you know? Whoop, whoop. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't understand why it won't let me share it. It won't let me share it, and there you go. Thank you. Strange shared it. There's her link for tonight. A lot of things going on. I'm in the bus trying to get it ready to take it to Oklahoma. Went down and got propane this morning. Hit the fence when I backed in. Not good. But anyway, last time I went to Oklahoma, I backed into my friend's garage and broke the ladder anyway. So, hey, can't be much more damage, right? I have not told Rick yet that I backed into the fence. Maybe he won't notice it, but he probably will. I love you too, Strange. He probably will notice it, and I will probably tell him before he gets home that I backed into the fence. But you don't allow rock to back in a 40-foot motorhome. You just don't do it, okay? That's the thing about that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to head to Mama Lost Ronda. Yes, try to make it to Strangers, please. I think I'm going to try to leave Sunday or Monday and head to the Panhandle. Might spend a couple days in Liberal. I haven't really decided what all I'm going to do. Definitely, court is on May 14th for 4th of the God's Misfits, so we want to cover that. Damn, so much going on. Time flies, you know. Oh, while I'm at it, just so, yeah, Rick's going to put me in timeout. Well, you know, I thought he was going to be pissed when I backed the motorhome into my friend's garage. Didn't hurt her garage, but broke the hell out of the ladder. And he just said, we got to get another ladder. So, and I haven't did that yet either. But anyway, the shower in the motorhome wasn't coming out very well. So ordered another one. Rick's going to put that on when he gets home. So we'll be ready to roll. The shower was leaking when we filled it with water. So we had to, listen, money pit. That's what you got. When you invest into anything recreational, it's a money pit, it seems like. And it's definitely been a money pit, but it's worth it. Every time I turn around, though, happen to fix something. And I'll talk more about Wesson, but he went to the vet on Friday. He can't hardly walk. He's got a spine disease. It just happened. And it's sad. My vet told me our next conversation would be not a good one. So I've been sleeping on the floor with Wesson and loving on him and trying to deal with it. The grandbabies are doing great. With that said, I'm going to get out of here. Much love to everybody. I don't know if you noticed, but when I start talking about Wesson, I'm ready to end my live very quickly. One day I'll be able to talk about it a lot better. Yes, the water restrictions I took off. I took off the water restriction in the nozzle. So I already took it out. There was a washer and a restriction. I took that out. So yes, you'll see me later. Like I said, I'll probably have my granddaughter, because my daughter will go up to see the twins and feed them. And I'll try to chat, but I'll definitely go see it. Yes, I am giving Weston lots of love. I don't know how quickly he's going to decline. Right now, that was a $500 vet visit too. Let's see here. They gave him, and let me tell you, Smith did not like the vet. And I've had this vet since he became a vet. And the guy that owned the vet hospital before that, I've been going there since I was a young child. So I trust them 1,000%. Yeah, they got Wesson on carprofen, CARPROFEN. It's an inflammation pill, pain pill. The deal is that his brain is not getting a signal to run his back legs. So he's walking on the top of his legs, dragging them, and half the time he can't walk. And it happened all of a sudden. It is not hip dysplasia. It's something else. And you know, Smith has a son, and I said, well, am I going to have to worry about this happening with Smith too? And the vet said no. It's very rare. I mean, German Shepherds usually have hip dysplasia, but they don't usually. This is rare. This is rare what he's got. And it's sad. He's 10 years old. He's been my rock. It's just very sad. One of my girls got sick on me a few weeks ago too, and now the ex won't let me know what's going on with her. Listen, my kids are grown, and Smith and Wesson are my kids. My daughter calls them her brothers, and my grandkids calls them their uncles. Listen, guys, I got to get off here. Much love to all you. You all rock. I love you to death.
Well, her name's Rock Chalk. She's the talk of the town. We're the German Shepherd duo, always sniffing around. Smith and Wesson by her side, they ain't just for show. They're the muscle when she's hustling, solving crime on the go. She's got her boots in the dirt, she's cracking the case. A true crime queen with a smirk on her face. Loves her country rap bumping, got that twang in that beat. You mess around with her, you're in for a treat. Oh, F-A-F-O, better watch your step. Rock Chalk's on the scene, she'll clean up your mess. With her dogs and her charm, she'll track you down slow. Oh, F-A-F-O, yeah, you reap what you sow. She's got a badge and a sassy attitude to boot. Kicks down doors like she's in hot pursuit. Smith and Wesson bark, don't you dare run. She's the queen of the scene, yeah, she gets it done. Country rap on the radio, she's cruising the street. From the city to the sticks, she's the one to meet. Her motto's real simple, don't try no bluff. Mess around all you want, but you'll find out quick enough. Whoa, F-A-F-O, better watch your step. Rock Chalk's on the scene, she'll clean up your mess. With her dogs and her charm, she'll track you down slow. Oh, F-A-F-O, yeah, you reap what you sow. She's got cowboy boots and a badge of steel. With a heart of gold and nerves unreal. You thought you could hide, but she's always in the know. Now you're caught, son, F-A-F-O. So here's the Rock Chalk and her Shepherd crew. Smith and Wesson got her back and they're coming for you. Country rap in her veins, she's the queen of the scene. F-A-F-O is her motto, and she's living the dream. Rock chalk out. Hey! She's got cowboy boots and a badge of steel, with a heart of gold and nerves unreal. You thought you could hide, but she's always in the know. Now you caught, son, F-A-F-O. So here's the rock chalk and her shepherd crew. Smith & Wesson got it back and they're coming for you. Country rap in her veins, she's the queen of the scene. F-A-F-O is her motto, she's living the dream. Rock chalk.